Force yourself to organize your life. Listen to me carefully, because what I'm about to say can completely shift the way you live your days. Most people don't fail because they are not gifted. They fail because their lives are scattered. Chaos is not the absence of intelligence, it's the absence of discipline. Your future is not waiting for you to discover it, it's waiting for you to organize it. Every single day you are either designing your life or you're allowing life to design you. If your environment is messy, your time is wasted. Your priorities are confused, then don't expect your destiny to be clear. Organization is not about being neat, it's about being ready. You can't handle greatness if your life can't handle order. You must force yourself to bring structure where there's confusion. Don't wait for motivation, build discipline. Because when you organize your life, you take control back from distractions. You begin to think clear, move faster, and achieve greater. Stop saying, I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow is the graveyard of dreams. The secret of successful people is not that they are more talented. It's that they manage what they already have. They know where everything belongs, from their thoughts to their time. Order gives birth to focus, and focus gives birth to excellence. Force yourself to organize your schedule. Set priorities. Ask yourself daily, what is truly important today? Don't allow trivial things to consume the hours that belong to your destiny. Time is life, and wasting time is wasting life. If you can't manage your minutes, you can't manage your miracles. When you organize your environment, your mind begins to breathe. When you clean your space, you clean your spirit. When you structure your goals, you structure your future. Organization is not a gift, it's a decision. Decide today that your life deserves clarity. Decide that your destiny deserves order. You must learn to create systems that support your purpose. Success is predictable when your life has patterns that lead to growth. Don't live emotionally, live intentionally. Intentional people wake up with a plan. They know what to do, why they're doing it, and when it must be done. The difference between chaos and creation is structure. God designed the world with order, seasons, systems, and cycles. If you want your life to bear fruit, you must create the right conditions. Fruit only grows where order exists. Force yourself to stop living by reaction. Live by design. If you don't organize your life, circumstances will do it for you. And trust me, they won't do it kindly. If your life feels out of control, don't pray for peace. Start building structure. Peace doesn't come from avoiding problems, it comes from managing them. Your future version is waiting for you on the other side of discipline. Not the discipline that comes from emotion, but the one that comes from commitment. When you force yourself to organize, you are training your soul for mastery. Greatness doesn't visit the unprepared, it lives with the organized. You can't rise above the level of your structure. Don't expect promotion where there is disorder. Your next level demands a new level of order. If your calendar, your goals, and your habits are unaligned, you are walking in circles. Alignment is power, and that power only comes when your life is organized around your purpose. Force yourself to do what you don't feel like doing until it becomes natural. Organization feels hard at first because chaos feels comfortable. But remember, comfort is the enemy of growth. Success begins where comfort ends. Discipline your mind. Clean your environment. Plan your tomorrow before tomorrow arrives. That's how leaders live. They don't wait for crisis to act. They structure their lives to prevent crisis. So today, I challenge you. Go back home and reorganize your priorities. Write down what truly matters. Clean that room. Delete the distractions. Set your daily routines. Your life is waiting to respond to the order you create. Because when you organize your life, you organize your destiny. And when your destiny is organized, success is no longer an accident. It becomes inevitable. Chaos is not the absence of intelligence. It's the absence of discipline. You can be the most talented person in the room, gifted with ideas that could change the world, yet still live every day trapped in confusion, frustration, and stagnation. Not because you don't know what to do, but because you've never trained yourself to do what must be done when it must be done. Intelligence gives you ideas, but discipline gives those ideas structure. And without structure, even the brightest light can scatter into darkness. Think about your life for a moment. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start tomorrow? How many times have you written goals, made promises, dreamt big dreams, but failed to follow through? It's not because you lack intelligence, it's because you lack consistency. Discipline is the bridge between knowing and becoming. Knowledge without discipline is like a car with no fuel. It looks impressive, but it's going nowhere. Chaos begins the moment you stop managing your thoughts. You wake up late, rush through the morning, skip priorities, forget commitments, and by noon, you're already overwhelmed. It's not that life attacked you. It's that you left your life unguarded. Discipline is the guard at the gate of your destiny. It keeps distractions out and focus in. The truth is, chaos feels easier in the beginning. Discipline feels uncomfortable, unnatural, and sometimes painful. Waking up early, planning your day, managing your time, it all feels like work. But chaos always costs more than discipline. Chaos costs you peace. It costs you opportunities. It costs you your potential. Discipline may cost you comfort, but chaos will cost you control. Look around you. The most successful people in any field are not necessarily the most intelligent. They're the ones who mastered their habits. They wake up before the world does. They schedule their hours. They respect their commitments. Their success isn't luck, it's design. Discipline gives their intelligence a direction, because raw talent without order becomes wasted potential. Imagine a library filled with thousands of brilliant books, but all scattered on the floor, unorganized, unread. That's what your life looks like without discipline. Full of wisdom, but without access. Intelligence fills the shelves, discipline builds the system to reach them. When you discipline yourself, you begin to control your own energy. Instead of reacting to the noise of the world, you start responding to the voice of your purpose. Some people say, I work better under pressure. No, they've just trained themselves to only act in chaos. Pressure has become their motivation because they never built the muscle of consistency. Discipline removes the need for chaos. It gives you peace, and peace becomes your power. The more ordered your life is, the more energy you have to create to grow, to lead. Think of a river. When water is uncontained, it floods, it destroys, it loses direction. But when it's guided, when it flows through a channel, it produces energy, movement, life. Intelligence without discipline is like a flood. It looks powerful, but it destroys everything in its path. Discipline gives intelligence direction, and direction gives birth to results. Every day you have a choice to drift or to direct. Drifting is easy. Direction requires discipline. Chaos thrives on laziness. Order grows from commitment. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. You won't always feel like doing what's right, but you must do it anyway. Feelings follow habits, not the other way around. The student who studies daily, the athlete who trains even when tired, the entrepreneur who plans even when exhausted. They all understand this truth: the mind must be trained, not trusted. If you trust your emotions, you'll drift into chaos. If you train your emotions, you'll walk into greatness. Discipline is the silent architect of success. It doesn't shout, it builds. While others are complaining about how unfair life is, the disciplined are preparing for the opportunities chaos will hide from the careless. Intelligence gives you vision, discipline gives you execution. And execution is what separates dreamers from achievers. In your daily life, discipline shows up in small moments. It's choosing to make your bed, to write your goals, to keep your promises, to say no when distractions whisper yes. These small acts are not meaningless. They are statements to your soul that you are in control. Chaos may try to sneak back in, but it has no power where order lives. A disciplined person doesn't wait for inspiration, they create the conditions for it. When your life is structured, inspiration finds a place to land. But when your life is messy, even good ideas get lost in the clutter. How many times have you had a great thought while working, but forgot it because your environment was chaos? Discipline turns inspiration into implementation. Chaos always hides in delay. Procrastination is its closest friend. Every time you say, I'll do it later, chaos smiles. A discipline doesn't delay, it decides. It doesn't need motivation, it moves. And with every act of discipline, you reclaim a piece of your power. Remember, intelligence may open the door, but only discipline will keep it open. Discipline transforms ability into achievement. It takes your scattered potential and turns it into focused energy. When you force yourself to live with order, you start to realize that success isn't some miracle. It's simply managed consistency. You can have all the intelligence in the world, but without discipline, it will always collapse under its own weight. Chaos destroys potential quietly. It eats away at your time, your focus, your willpower. But when you introduce discipline, everything aligns: your thoughts, your actions, your future. The mind that learns to obey itself becomes unstoppable. When you say no to laziness, no to distraction, and yes to order, you begin to shape your destiny intentionally. Intelligence may be your gift, but discipline is your guarantee. Chaos has no place in the life of someone who has decided to be in control. It's not about how smart you are. It's about how structured you choose to be. Organization is preparation for destiny. Nothing great is ever achieved by accident. No dream becomes reality just because someone wished for it. Every destiny that manifests is the result of preparation meeting opportunity. When your life is disorganized, even the right opportunity can pass you by because you're not in position to recognize it. Destiny doesn't wait for you to be ready. It responds to your readiness. And readiness begins when you organize your life. Think of a farmer who owns a large field. If he throws seeds randomly, without clearing the land, without removing the stones, without setting rows, he cannot expect a harvest. The seed is good, the soil is good, but the system is missing. The same happens in life. You can have the dream, the talent, the vision, but without order, everything scatters. Organization is not about perfection, it's about preparation. It's the process of creating room for your destiny to grow. Many people say they are waiting for their big break. But what if your big break is waiting for you to get organized? Destiny is not attracted to confusion. It's attracted to clarity. When your life is in order, opportunities can find you. When your time is managed, success can trust you. When your priorities are aligned, progress becomes predictable. Organization tells the universe you're serious about what you're asking for. Look at your daily life. How much time is wasted searching for things you misplaced, rushing through tasks you forgot, or apologizing for commitments you didn't manage? Every moment of disorganization steals from your destiny. The person who manages small things well becomes trusted with greater things. If you can't organize your day, how will you organize your dream? If you can't manage your schedule, how will you manage your success? Organization gives shape to your vision. It turns dreams into strategies. A dream without a plan is a wish, but a plan is the language of destiny. When you organize, you're saying to life, I'm ready. You're building systems that can handle growth. Many people pray for increase, but increase without order leads to collapse. A disorganized person with success will still fail because they can't sustain it. Think about a musician before a concert. Before they play a single note, everything must be tuned, arranged, and positioned. The lights, the instruments, the sound checks, every detail matters. Why? Because preparation determines performance. If one chord is missing, one instrument out of tune, the entire song suffers. Your life is the same. Destiny sounds its best when every part of you is in alignment. Your mind, your habits, your time, your purpose. Organization is not a burden, it's a blessing. It brings peace to your chaos. It gives direction to your effort. It transforms stress into strategy. People who live disorganized lives often live in constant anxiety, not because life is hard, but because their lives are unplanned. When you organize your priorities, you begin to breathe again. Suddenly, your future doesn't feel impossible. It feels manageable. One of the greatest signs that you are growing is when you begin to crave structure. As children, we live by impulse. We move when we feel like it. As adults, we move by design. Your destiny demands maturity, and maturity demands order. When you wake up early, when you write your goals, when you plan your week, you're not just being busy, you're aligning with your purpose. Imagine a construction site. Before the building rises, there are blueprints, measurements, and foundations. The deeper the foundation, the higher the building can go. Your organization is that foundation. Your schedule is your blueprint. Your discipline is the structure that holds everything up. No architect starts building without a plan, and no life should pursue destiny without structure. So many people admire the final product of others' success, but never see the order behind it. The athlete who wins a gold medal didn't just train hard, they lived with precision. The entrepreneur who built an empire didn't just have ideas, they had systems. The speaker who moves thousands didn't just talk, they prepared. Every visible victory hides invisible order. Destiny rewards those who prepare in private for what they expect in public. Organization multiplies your energy. When your space is clear, your mind is clear. When your time is planned, your purpose is focused. You stop wasting energy on what doesn't matter. You stop fighting battles that don't belong to you. Instead of running in circles, you begin to move in a straight line toward your future. That's the power of an organized life. It turns motion into momentum. Think of your day as a container. You only have so much space. If you fill it with the unimportant, there's no room for what truly matters. Organization helps you make room for meaning. It's not just about cleaning your desk, it's about cleaning your direction. It's learning to say no to distractions so you can say yes to destiny. Every time you prioritize purpose over comfort, you're organizing your life for greatness. Some people think they need more time, but what they really need is more order. Everyone has the same 24 hours, but not everyone uses them the same way. The difference is not in the hours, it's in the habits. Organized people don't have more time, they just waste less of it. And because they're consistent, small progress becomes massive over time. In relationships, in business, in health, organization decides outcomes. A disorganized friendship becomes distant. A disorganized business collapses. A disorganized lifestyle destroys health. But when you organize, everything begins to align. People trust you more, results multiply, and peace replaces pressure. You stop surviving and start living intentionally. Organization is not about being rigid, it's about being ready. It doesn't limit creativity, it protects it. A clear structure gives your mind freedom to think, dream, and execute. Chaos kills creativity because your brain is busy surviving. Order frees your mind to imagine and build. That's why the most creative people often live with great discipline. They know their ideas need structure to thrive. You cannot walk into your destiny unprepared. Greatness requires planning. Before the storm comes, you build the shelter. Before the opportunity arrives, you organize your tools. Before success calls your name, you prepare your systems. Destiny is not a surprise. It's a scheduled arrival for those who are ready to receive it. Successful people manage what they already have with structure. They don't wait for more resources, more money, or more opportunities to start. They begin with what's already in their hands and build systems around it. It's never about the size of what you have, but how well you handle it. Most people are waiting for abundance before they learn management, but abundance only comes to those who are already managing what they possess. If you can't handle little, you won't handle much. If you can't order the small things, you'll never be trusted with greater things. Think of it this way: a gardener doesn't pray for rain if he hasn't planted seeds. He organizes his soil, he waters daily, he prunes the weeds, and he prepares the ground long before the harvest comes. That's how successful people live. They don't wait for luck. They prepare for result. They know that success is not a matter of chance, but a matter of management. Structure attracts stability. Order invites increase. When your life is structured, you're signaling to life itself that you're ready for more. Most people think success begins with opportunity, but opportunity without structure leads to waste. Have you ever seen someone win a fortune and lose it within years? That's not bad luck. That's poor management. They gained what they weren't prepared to sustain. The same happens in life. You can get a promotion, start a business, or build a relationship, but if there's no structure, no plan, no order, it will eventually collapse. Successful people don't chase blessings, they build systems to keep them. Structure doesn't mean living in rigidity, it means creating patterns that protect your potential. Take, for example, a student who studies 1 hour every day versus the one who crams the night before the exam. They both have the same books, the same teacher, and the same brain, but one succeeds because of consistency. That's structure in motion. The same principle applies to life. Successful people schedule their growth. They assign time for learning, time for reflection, and time for rest. Their progress is not accidental, it's intentional. Think of an athlete. They don't become great by talent alone. Talent gives them potential, but structure turns potential into performance. They have a training schedule, a diet plan, a rest pattern, a recovery system. They repeat routines that shape excellence. They manage their time, their energy, and their emotions. That's why when the moment of competition arrives, they perform with confidence. They've already built their preparation into their structure. In everyday life, structure can look simple. It's waking up with a plan instead of reacting to chaos. It's setting priorities before distractions arrive. It's organizing your finances so you control your money instead of your money controlling you. Successful people treat time like currency. They budget it carefully. They don't spend their minutes on meaningless things and then complain about not having enough hours in a day. Structure teaches you the discipline of direction. It reminds you that focus is a form of respect for your dream and for your future. People often admire success but ignore the systems behind it. They see the results but not the routine. They want the fruit but skip the planting. What you see on the surface is just the outcome of years of disciplined structure underneath. When you meet someone who appears calm in chaos, confident under pressure, and consistent in excellence, it's because they built their life around principles, not emotions. Emotions fluctuate, but structure stabilizes. Imagine a house built without a plan, rooms in random places, walls leaning, windows misplaced. Even with expensive materials, the house will crumble because there's no order. The same applies to your life. You can have all the resources, education, talent, opportunities, but without a structured plan, everything will eventually fall apart. Successful people understand that structure doesn't limit freedom, it creates it. When your life is organized, you gain the freedom to create, to think, to expand. Take a small business owner who keeps detailed records of every sale, every expense, every idea. They might not be rich yet, but they are building a foundation for greatness. Another person might earn more but mismanages their income, never knowing where their money goes. When struggle comes, the one with structure survives, while the one without it collapses. That's why management is more powerful than money. Success is not sustained by what you earn, but by what you manage. Structure gives clarity. When you manage your time well, your decisions become sharper. When you manage your relationships, you attract harmony. When you manage your goals, your life gains direction. Successful people don't allow randomness to guide them. They review, they adjust, they organize, they treat every area of their life, spiritual, emotional, physical, financial, with intention. Because they know chaos in one area can affect progress in all areas. Think of a musician managing their band. Every instrument must come in at the right time, in the right rhythm, or the song turns into noise. Your life is an orchestra and you are the conductor. Every area, your work, your health, your mindset, your relationships must play in harmony. Structure is the rhythm that keeps the music of your destiny in tune. Without it, everything becomes noise. Structure also builds trust. When people see that you manage your commitments, they trust you with greater responsibilities. Opportunities come to those who are predictable in excellence. No one gives big assignments to those who can't manage small ones. When you live a structured life, doors open naturally. You don't need to chase. What's meant for you will recognize your readiness. Some people pray for a better life, but never organize the one they already have. They ask for increase, but can't manage what's in their hands. Even a simple act like keeping your promises, showing up on time, or planning your day is part of managing success. Small disciplines compound into big rewards. Successful people understand that structure is the seed of stability. A disorganized life feels heavy because it's filled with unnecessary chaos. An organized life feels light because everything has its place. When you manage your time, energy, and priorities, you move through life with clarity. You stop being reactive and start being proactive. That's the hidden strength of every successful person. They know that excellence is not a one-time act, but a daily habit built through structure. Structure transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. When you build systems for your habits, you no longer depend on motivation, you depend on consistency. Success doesn't belong to the lucky, it belongs to the structured. The moment you start managing what's already in your hands, you begin to attract what's meant for your future. Time management is life management. Every tick of the clock is not just time passing, it is life passing. Every minute that slips away is a piece of your existence you will never get back. When you waste time, you are not just losing moments, you are losing opportunities, potential, and parts of yourself that could have built something meaningful. Managing your time is not about being busy. It is about being intentional. It is about deciding what truly deserves your hours, your focus, your energy. Think about how a day begins. You open your eyes and the clock starts moving. From that moment, life gives you 24 hours, no more, no less. The richest person in the world and the poorest person both receive the same amount. Yet one multiplies it and the other loses it. The difference is not in the hours they have, but in how they manage them. Your future is shaped not by what you plan to do someday, but by what you do with the hours you already have. Have you noticed how some people seem to do so much with their day, while others feel exhausted even when they've done very little? It's because successful people understand that time is not meant to be spent, it's meant to be invested. When you invest your time wisely, life pays you back with growth, peace, and progress. When you waste it, life takes it back with regret. Time is the only resource that never renews. Money lost can be earned again, energy drained can be restored, but time wasted is gone forever. Think about a student who spends hours scrolling through distractions instead of studying. When the exam day comes, panic replaces peace. The problem wasn't intelligence, it was management. They manage pleasure, not purpose. Another student may have the same amount of time but organizes it, sets schedules, plans study hours, takes breaks with discipline, and walks into the same exam with calm confidence. That's the difference between chaos and control. Time management is not about doing more things, it's about doing the right things. It's learning to say no to what doesn't add value to your destiny. Some people fill their days with activity and still end the day feeling empty because they were busy but not productive. Being busy means movement. Being productive means progress. You can spend all day running, but if you're running in the wrong direction, you're still lost. In daily life, look at how people treat mornings. The ones who win their mornings often win their days. Waking up early is not magic, it's a mindset. It's the decision to take control of your hours before the world starts demanding them. Those quiet moments in the morning are not just peaceful, they're powerful. That's when you plan, think, and align your day with your purpose. Every hour spent in focus early saves you several hours of confusion later. There's a saying, if you want to know the value of a year, ask a student who failed a grade. If you want to know the value of a month, ask a mother who gave birth prematurely. If you want to know the value of a week, ask a worker waiting for his paycheck. If you want to know the value of a second, ask the driver who just avoided an accident. Every moment counts because every moment is a piece of life itself. Time doesn't just move forward, it moves you forward or backward depending on how you use it. Think of your day as a bank account. Every morning, life deposits 24 hours into it. You can spend them however you want, but you cannot carry them over. At midnight, the account resets. The question is, what are you doing with the hours that have been given to you? Are you spending them on purpose or wasting them on distractions? If you manage time well, you're managing your destiny. If you let time slip away, your destiny slips with it. Successful people are not those who have more talent. They are those who manage their moments better. They treat each minute as a tool to shape their future. When others are sleeping, they are planning. When others are distracted, they are focused. When others are complaining, they are working. They understand that life rewards the disciplined, not the distracted. The clock does not stop for anyone, and neither does opportunity. Time management is also emotional management. When your schedule is in order, your mind is in peace. When you plan your days, you take back control from anxiety. Stress often comes not from having too much to do, but from not knowing what to do first. Planning brings clarity, and clarity brings calm. Every organized day is a silent victory over chaos. Think about the simple act of prioritizing. When you write down what must be done today, you are telling your time where to go instead of wondering where it went. That small decision separates the dreamers from the doers. It's not enough to have vision. You must assign time to your vision. If you say something matters to you, but never give it time, you are lying to yourself. Your schedule reveals your values more than your words do. Time is not found, it's made. You make time for what matters. People say, I don't have time. But the truth is they haven't made it a priority. Everyone has time. Few have focus. When you begin to protect your time like treasure, your life begins to shift. Distractions lose their power. Procrastination loses its voice. Every minute becomes meaningful. Look at nature. It respects timing. Seasons change on schedule. The sun rises and sets with precision. Even the smallest seed knows when to grow. Everything that thrives operates on timing. Yet humans, with all their intelligence, often ignore it. When you live out of sync with time, you live out of sync with purpose. Your growth, your peace, your progress, they all depend on how you use your hours. There are people who chase shortcuts, hoping to skip the discipline of time. They want results without routine, rewards without repetition. But life doesn't work that way. Time tests you before it trusts you. What you build over time lasts. What you build overnight collapses. The patient builder always outlasts the impulsive dreamer. Managing your time also means managing your attention. Your mind is like a stage, only one thought can perform at a time. If you don't control what stands in the spotlight, distractions will take the stage. Focus is a choice, and so is waste. People lose years in minutes because they never learn to protect their focus. Time is the currency of destiny. Every conversation, every task, every habit is an investment. You're either depositing into your future or withdrawing from it. Each day is a chapter in your story. If you want your life to read well, you must write it with intention, 1 hour at a time. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is how people treat the same 24 hours they both receive. Your environment is the mirror of your mind. It silently tells the world who you are long before you open your mouth. If your space is chaotic, if your desk is buried under piles of things, if your room looks like a storm passed through it, then that is exactly how your mind feels inside, cluttered, confused, and overwhelmed. When you walk into a messy environment, it instantly drains your energy. You can feel it. Your focus begins to slip, your creativity hides, and your motivation takes a back seat. But when you walk into a space that's organized, clean, and intentional, suddenly you breathe differently. Your thoughts align, your spirit settles, and you start to see things more clearly. That's because your surroundings are not just physical, they are deeply spiritual. Your external world is the physical echo of your internal state. Think about it. When you are anxious, your room becomes messy without you noticing. When you're inspired, you clean, rearrange, and make things look right. That's not a coincidence. It's a reflection of how the mind and environment are tied together. A disorganized room often belongs to a disorganized thinker. And if you can't organize your environment, you'll struggle to organize your goals, your time, and your priorities. Life responds to order. Nothing great was ever built on chaos. Every successful person you admire has one thing in common. They've mastered the art of order. They understand that before you can rule your life, you must first rule your space. Imagine a painter trying to create a masterpiece in a room filled with clutter, noise, and distractions. The brush won't move freely. The colors won't flow. The vision becomes blurred by the mess around them. But give that same painter a clear table, a clean palette, and silence, and suddenly creativity flows effortlessly. That's how your mind works. If you want clarity in your life, you must first create clarity in your space. Every morning when you wake up, your surroundings either support you or sabotage you. When you wake up to a messy environment, it whispers to you, you're behind. You start your day already defeated. But when you wake up to a clean, peaceful space, it tells you you're ready. It's not about being perfect. It's about creating an environment that fuels your progress. Because every time you look around, your mind is absorbing signals. It's either feeding on chaos or peace. You can't expect to think like a leader if your environment looks like confusion. The physical space you live in is a constant conversation with your mind. And the truth is, the mind thrives on order. The moment you start cleaning up your surroundings, you are not just moving objects. You are moving energy. You are creating room for new ideas, new habits, and new opportunities to flow. Sometimes people pray for clarity, but clarity will not come until you create the space for it. Sometimes you don't need a miracle, you just need to declutter. I've seen people change their entire lives just by cleaning their environment. One man said, I started with my desk. That small act of organizing one area shifted something inside him. He started planning better, thinking better, making better decisions. Because when you discipline your environment, you discipline your mind. When you take control of the small things around you, you begin to take control of the bigger things within you. Look at nature. The ocean, the sky, the seasons, all function in divine order. Even the planets move in perfect rhythm. There is no confusion in creation. Order produces beauty. Structure gives birth to peace. When you align your environment with that same principle of order, you align yourself with the rhythm of success. So if your environment reflects your mind, ask yourself today, what story is your space telling about you? Is it saying you're ready, focused, and intentional? Or is it showing hesitation, neglect, and distraction? Every item out of place is a reminder of something unresolved. And when you start fixing your space, you start fixing the parts of you that you've been avoiding. Many people wait to feel motivated before they act, but that's the wrong approach. Motivation is born out of movement. When you start cleaning, organizing, and putting things in place, your mind catches the signal. It begins to align. The act itself becomes the spark. Small disciplines in your environment build massive discipline in your mindset. And before you know it, you start making better decisions, not just in your room, but in your life. So if you ever feel stuck, don't start with your plans, start with your space. Pick one corner, one drawer, one shelf, and bring it into order. Watch how your thoughts begin to shift. Your environment is your silent mentor. It either teaches you chaos or teaches you peace. And when you choose to organize your space, you are declaring to the universe that you are ready for more. Because no blessing enters a cluttered space. and no dream grows in disorder. Order is the seed of progress, and your environment is the soil where your destiny begins to bloom. Systems and patterns predict success. Everything in life follows a rhythm, a structure, a flow. Nothing great happens randomly. Every successful person you've ever admired has built a system that supports their dream. Success is not a one-time event. It's a pattern of consistent, disciplined actions that compound over time. People often chase the moment of achievement, but they ignore the process that produced it. They see the harvest, not the seasons of sowing, watering, and waiting. The truth is, life doesn't reward desire, it rewards design. If you design your life through systems that align with your goals, success becomes inevitable. Look at the way nature operates. The sun rises and sets at precise moments. The tides follow the pull of the moon with consistency. The seasons arrive in perfect order. Spring never forgets to show up. Everything in creation functions within a system, and that's why it works. Even your body has systems: the nervous system, the digestive system, the respiratory system. When one system breaks down, chaos begins. The same applies to your life. If your financial system is broken, you live in stress. If your daily routine is inconsistent, your purpose gets lost. The absence of systems invites disorder. Many people pray for success, but they don't prepare for it. They hope for results without designing routines. They want growth without structure. But you can't rise higher than the systems you live by. If your habits are inconsistent, your results would be inconsistent. Success is not magic, it's mathematics. It's about predictable patterns. You can calculate it, you can reproduce it. Because when your behavior becomes patterned around purpose, your outcomes begin to follow that pattern. Think about the people who wake up early every day, plan their time, and execute their goals with intention. Over time, their small, consistent actions produce extraordinary results. Now think about those who move through life reacting to whatever comes their way. No schedule, no pattern, no discipline. Their results reflect their randomness. Patterns determine destiny. The moment you create a pattern of excellence, life starts to reward you. In daily life, we see the power of systems everywhere. A student who develops a study pattern performs better than one who studies randomly. A business owner who follows a system of marketing, customer care, and financial tracking will always outperform one who works from impulse. Even relationships thrive on patterns. Small, repeated acts of kindness, communication, and consistency build trust. When you build patterns of responsibility, excellence, and discipline, success has no choice but to find you. Some people think success is about doing big things occasionally, but it's not. It's about doing small things repeatedly until they form a system that serves you. A gym routine, a morning plan, a time to read, a time to reflect. These are not just activities, they are success systems. Once you set them in motion, they guide your life automatically. Because the brain loves patterns. When you repeat something long enough, your brain turns it into a habit. Habits become identity, identity becomes destiny. Every time you skip building systems, you choose struggle. Without systems, you rely on feelings. And feelings are unreliable. One day you're motivated, the next you're not. But systems don't depend on emotion. They depend on structure. That's why successful people don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. They don't wake up and ask, do I feel like it? They just follow the pattern they created when they were clear about their goals. Think about an airplane. Before it ever takes off, it goes through a system: pre-flight checks, runway alignment, communication with control tower. Every movement is structured. Imagine a pilot skipping that system because he felt ready. Disaster would follow. Your life is no different. Without patterns of preparation, you end up crashing into frustration. But when you build a system, you create a path that carries you even when your energy is low. Systems are not cages. They are frameworks that give you freedom. When you have order in your life, you spend less time making small decisions and more time focusing on big visions. For example, if you set a system for managing money, save a percentage, invest wisely, track spending, you don't have to constantly worry about finances. The system does the thinking for you. If you set a system for your health, exercise at the same time daily, eat intentionally, rest properly, your body rewards you with strength. Systems create stability, and stability creates growth. The most powerful thing about systems and patterns is that they reveal your future. You don't have to guess where someone will end up. Just look at their daily patterns. If a person consistently learns, grows, and takes responsibility, you can predict their success. If someone consistently procrastinates, blames others, and avoids discipline, you can predict their failure. Destiny is not mysterious. It's the result of daily patterns repeated over time. So, to organize your life, you must create systems that serve your purpose. Decide what matters most, then build patterns around it. Design your days to protect your priorities. When you create these systems, you no longer live by accident. You live by intention. And intention turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Because success is never luck. It's the product of a system that never fails. Discipline transforms chaos into clarity. Most people live their lives reacting to situations instead of responding with purpose. They wake up and let their emotions decide their day. They let distractions guide their actions, and they allow circumstances to determine their mindset. The result is confusion, stress, and endless frustration. Chaos becomes their default because there is no structure, no intentionality, no self-command. But discipline is the tool that turns this chaos into order. It is the bridge between confusion and clarity, between dreaming and doing, between surviving and thriving. Think about a student trying to prepare for an important exam without a study plan. They sit with their books open but have no schedule, no focus, and no system for retaining information. Hours pass and nothing is absorbed. Frustration sets in, panic rises, and the student feels lost. The intelligence is there, the capacity is there, but the discipline is missing. Now imagine the same student waking up every day at the same time, following a schedule that divides subjects into manageable portions, taking breaks to refresh, reviewing notes consistently, and sticking to the plan without excuses. Suddenly, chaos becomes clarity. Studying becomes effective, understanding grows, and confidence replaces anxiety. Discipline has transformed scattered effort into precise, impactful action. In daily life, chaos often appears in small ways that grow into mountains. A messy desk, unpaid bills, unplanned meals, forgotten commitments, or neglected conversations. Each small act of disorder accumulates. Before long, the mind is overwhelmed, emotions run wild, and decisions are clouded. People think they are too busy or too tired, but the real issue is lack of discipline. If they had trained themselves to handle these small tasks with consistent attention, their days would flow smoothly, their mind would be clear, and their energy would multiply. Discipline starts with small, deliberate choices, repeated until they become habits, and habits are the architecture of clarity. Consider the life of an athlete. Training without discipline leads to mediocrity. Inconsistent practice, poor diet, and irregular sleep create chaos in performance. The body reacts poorly, endurance falters, and results are unpredictable. Now, take an athlete who wakes at the same time each morning, follows a strict training plan, monitors nutrition, and rests on schedule. Every muscle, every movement, every decision is part of a pattern. Their performance is no longer chaotic. It is precise, powerful, and reliable. Discipline has transformed potential confusion into clarity, and clarity creates mastery. Even in personal relationships, discipline is the key to order. A person who reacts impulsively to every conflict, who avoids communication, and lets misunderstandings fester lives in chaos. Emotions fluctuate, arguments escalate, and bonds weaken. Contrast that with someone who establishes the habit of regular, honest communication, who listens before responding, who addresses conflicts calmly and consistently. Clarity emerges, relationships stabilize, trust grows. Discipline converts emotional chaos into meaningful connection. Time is another area where discipline brings clarity. Many people feel stressed not because they have too much to do, but because they have not disciplined their hours. They multitask, procrastinate, or drift from one task to another, leaving a trail of incomplete work and mental clutter. Discipline, the decision to plan your day, prioritize tasks and honor deadlines, cuts through the noise. Suddenly, what seemed overwhelming becomes manageable, the mind becomes focused, and productivity soars. The very act of sticking to a plan and honoring commitments transforms scattered minutes into purposeful hours. Even financially, discipline shapes clarity. Without tracking income and expenses, people wonder where their money went, feel anxious, and make poor decisions. A disciplined person keeps a budget, monitors spending, plans savings, and invests intentionally. They know exactly where resources go, and financial chaos becomes financial clarity. They no longer stress over money because their actions are aligned with their goals. Discipline allows foresight, control, and confidence where there was confusion, waste, and fear. Chaos also exists in thought. A mind that jumps from one idea to another, overwhelmed by worries, doubts, and endless possibilities, achieves nothing. Discipline trains the mind to focus, to prioritize, and to concentrate on what truly matters. Journaling, meditation, goal setting, and intentional reflection are all forms of mental discipline. They clear mental clutter, focus attention, and give clarity to decision making. The mind becomes a tool instead of a trap. It begins to direct energy, not scatter it. Look at your daily habits. The small choices you make consistently are the foundation of your life. Skipping breakfast, leaving tasks incomplete, scrolling endlessly on a phone, these minor acts of chaos accumulate over weeks, months, and years. Discipline, choosing to follow routines, honor commitments, and take consistent steps toward your goals, transforms these habits. Life shifts from reactive confusion to proactive clarity. Energy multiplies, focus strengthens, and results follow. Discipline is not about harsh rules or rigid control. It is about respect for your future self. It is the willingness to do what is necessary, even when you don't feel like it. The more you practice discipline in small areas, the more natural it becomes to bring order to the bigger areas of life. Your schedule, your health, your relationships, your finances, and your mindset all benefit from repeated acts of discipline. Chaos recedes because clarity is being built moment by moment, habit by habit. Consider someone running a household without routine. Chores pile up, bills are missed, appointments are forgotten, and stress dominates. The household feels out of control. Introduce discipline, a cleaning schedule, a meal plan, a calendar for bills, time set aside for family. Suddenly, the chaos is tamed. Everyone knows what to expect, energy improves, and the home becomes a place of peace instead of tension. The same principle applies to the internal life. The more structured your actions, the clearer your mind, the more predictable your results. Discipline teaches you consistency. It transforms reaction into strategy. It converts confusion into foresight. It creates momentum because your life begins to flow according to principle, not circumstance. What once seemed impossible or overwhelming becomes manageable because you have trained yourself to act with order, to respond with purpose, and to think with clarity. Even small acts, when repeated, compound. Waking up early, planning the day, following a schedule, honoring commitments, reflecting on goals, managing emotions, prioritizing tasks, maintaining health, speaking kindly, controlling impulses. These repeated choices accumulate. Chaos is slowly replaced by structure. Scattered energy aligns. Confusion gives way to clarity. Discipline is the invisible architect, building the framework of a life where nothing is wasted, everything is intentional, and every day contributes to purpose. Order creates peace, and peace fuels productivity. The truth is, your environment, your schedule, and even your thoughts directly affect the quality of your work, your relationships, and your happiness. When your surroundings are chaotic, your mind mirrors that chaos. Cluttered spaces breed cluttered thinking, and cluttered thinking leads to indecision, stress, and wasted energy. Imagine walking into a room where everything is scattered, papers on the floor, clothes everywhere, dishes in the sink. Even before you sit down, your mind is distracted. Your energy is pulled in multiple directions without even realizing it. Now imagine walking into a space that is clean, organized, and intentional. Suddenly, breathing becomes easier, focus comes naturally, and your brain is free to think clearly. That is the first gift of order, peace. Peace is not just the absence of noise or mess. It is a state of alignment between your mind, your environment, and your priorities. Without it, productivity is an uphill battle. Consider the professional who works from a disorganized desk. Every time they need a document, they spend minutes or even hours searching. Tasks pile up, deadlines are missed, and stress builds. The work could have been done efficiently, but the chaos of the environment sabotages even the best intentions. Now consider someone who has taken the time to organize their desk, files, and digital workspace. When an important task arrives, they know exactly where everything is. Decisions are quicker, energy is preserved, and momentum grows. Peace allows the mind to operate at its peak capacity. Even in personal life, order breeds peace. A family that has a schedule for chores, meals, and activities functions with less conflict and tension. Children know their responsibilities, parents know their priorities, and everyone moves through the day with a sense of predictability. When people operate in chaos, small problems escalate into arguments, tasks are forgotten, and stress becomes the default. The simple act of creating order, setting routines, cleaning spaces, managing schedules, produces a calm environment where productivity is natural. Peace removes friction, and friction drains energy. Productivity thrives on peace because it provides focus. Without peace, the mind is scattered, energy is wasted on distractions, and efforts yield minimal results. Imagine trying to write a report while your phone is buzzing nonstop. your emails are piling up, and your desk is covered in unrelated papers. Every distraction fractures your attention. Your output is slow, inconsistent, and often incomplete. Now imagine sitting down in a quiet, organized space with everything you need at hand. Your mind is calm, your focus is sharp, and progress accelerates. Peace clears the path for productivity because it removes internal and external obstacles. Even in daily routines, order produces energy that fuels action. Consider the person who wakes up with a plan. They know what they will accomplish, in what order, and how long each task will take. Compare that to someone who wakes up reacting to notifications, scrambling to catch up, and drifting from task to task. The first person starts the day in control, moving smoothly from task to task, while the second is overwhelmed before the morning ends. Structure gives clarity, and clarity energizes effort. Peace is the fuel, productivity is the engine, and order is the ignition that starts the process. Organization is also psychological. Clutter creates stress, and stress inhibits thinking. Studies have shown that people in organized spaces experience lower cortisol levels and greater satisfaction. Your surroundings signal your mind about what is acceptable. If your environment is messy, your mind believes disorder is acceptable in your actions, your relationships, and even your goals. If your environment is orderly, your mind accepts that excellence is the standard. Peace comes not from avoiding tasks, but from knowing that tasks are under control. Productivity flows naturally from this state because effort is no longer fragmented. Consider the entrepreneur who manages multiple projects. Without order, priorities conflict, deadlines are missed, and stress is constant. Their creativity suffers because the mind is occupied with chaos instead of solutions. But when they implement systems, calendars, and structured workflows, peace is restored. Suddenly, ideas can be acted upon, decisions are made efficiently, and work progresses steadily. Order gives a framework where productivity is not just possible, it is inevitable. Even in health, order produces peace that fuels productivity. Someone who plans meals, exercises regularly, and sleeps on schedule experiences more energy, clearer thinking, and better performance. Chaos in diet, sleep, or exercise leads to fatigue, poor focus, and frustration. The body, like the mind, thrives on predictable patterns. Peace is the byproduct of alignment, and productivity is the natural outcome. Relationships also reflect the principle. When personal boundaries, routines, and communication are established, peace grows between individuals. Without order, misunderstandings multiply, arguments escalate, and emotional energy is drained. The calm produced by structure allows interactions to be productive, supportive, and growth-oriented. Peace stabilizes energy, and productive energy builds trust, collaboration, and results. The principle applies to goals as well. Someone with a clear, structured plan for achieving their goals experiences less anxiety and more progress than someone with vague intentions. Breaking large objectives into manageable steps, scheduling work sessions, and tracking progress produces peace of mind. That peace allows consistent effort, which produces results. Chaos in goal management produces delays, missed opportunities, and wasted effort. Even small daily habits reflect the impact of order on productivity. Making your bed, clearing your workspace, preparing the next day's clothes, and planning meals are minor tasks, but they accumulate into mental clarity. Each act of order reduces stress, removes distractions, and creates a foundation for productive focus. The mind thrives on predictability, and peace is the signal that energy can be directed toward meaningful work. In every aspect of life, order transforms potential into achievement. It aligns mind, body, and environment. It reduces resistance and maximizes output. Chaos is silent theft, stealing time, energy, and focus, but order restores balance, gives direction, and fuels progress. When you commit to structuring your space, your schedule, and your thoughts, peace naturally emerges. And when peace is present, productivity becomes effortless because the mind and body are free to perform at their peak. Order is not about perfection, it's about intention. It's about creating conditions where your energy can flow unhindered, where decisions are clear, and where every effort counts. When order is maintained consistently, peace becomes a natural state. Peace, in turn, fuels your productivity by removing friction, guiding focus, and multiplying output. Each small act of organizing, planning, and structuring compounds over time. The life that appears chaotic today can be transformed into one of clarity, focus, and achievement simply by embracing the principle that order creates peace and peace fuels productivity. Life rewards those who refuse to remain passive, those who choose to take command of their own destiny. The greatest mistake anyone can make is to believe that change will happen without effort, that success will arrive without preparation, that dreams will materialize without discipline. Every moment you delay, every opportunity you ignore, every decision left unmade is a seed of regret sown for the future. The difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary is not luck, it is action. It is the willingness to do what others will not do today, so that tomorrow you can live what others only dream about. Think about the lives of those you admire. Every one of them, without exception, faced obstacles, doubts, and fears. They were confronted by challenges that seemed insurmountable, yet they persevered. Why? Because they understood that greatness does not arrive at the door of the hesitant. It visits those who are ready, those who are disciplined, those who refuse to allow excuses to dictate their reality. Success is not an accident, it is intentional. It is the product of consistent effort, of a mind aligned with purpose, and a heart committed to resilience. Your dreams are waiting for you to act. The world does not pause for hesitation, and opportunities do not wait for indecision. If you want a life of impact, a life of fulfillment, a life that inspires those who come after you, you must start where you are, with what you have, and refuse to allow fear or uncertainty to paralyze you. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, yet many never take it because they are waiting for perfect conditions that will never arrive. Conditions are never perfect, but action is always necessary. Consider the power of small, consistent choices. A single act may seem insignificant today, but compounded over weeks, months, and years, those choices define your destiny. The person who reads a little every day, who invests a portion of their income, who disciplines their mind, who speaks truth and lives integrity, is building an invisible foundation upon which extraordinary results are erected. Your life is the sum of your daily choices. Greatness is rarely a sudden event. It is a pattern, a series of decisions repeated with purpose, each one a brick in the structure of your success. Never underestimate the power of mindset. The thoughts you allow to dominate your mind will either limit you or propel you. Negativity is a chain, positivity is a ladder. Every time you choose belief over doubt, courage over fear, persistence over surrender, you are constructing a path toward a higher version of yourself. Do not wait for confidence to appear before you act. Act first and confidence will follow. The brave do not feel fearless. They act in spite of fear, knowing that each step taken is a step toward victory. Remember, comfort is the enemy of progress. If you are always seeking ease, you will remain stagnant. The moment you embrace discomfort, discipline, and responsibility, you move closer to the person you are meant to become. Struggle is not a punishment, it is a teacher. It shapes character, it strengthens resolve, it clarifies purpose. The moments that challenge you are the moments that prepare you for triumph. The greater the struggle, the more profound the reward, and the more unforgettable the journey. Look at your life with honesty. Where have you been avoiding responsibility? Where have you been allowing excuses to dictate your reality? Where have you waited for someone else to create opportunities for you? The truth is, no one owes you your success, your happiness, or your fulfillment. Every blessing comes through preparation, effort, and intentional action. The moment you accept full responsibility for your life, you release the limitations of blaming circumstances, luck, or others. Empowerment is born from ownership. When you claim your life, the universe responds with opportunity. Your time is the most precious asset you possess. It cannot be bought, it cannot be borrowed, it cannot be stored. Every second that passes is a part of your life that will never return. Use it wisely. Invest it intentionally. Let each day be a step closer to the life you envision. Do not waste hours on trivial distractions. Do not surrender your energy to negativity. And do not allow procrastination to rob you of your potential. Action, focus, and persistence are the currency of achievement. And every moment you spend deliberately compounds into results that will last far beyond your lifetime. Consider the lessons of history, the stories of those who refused to quit. They were not extraordinary because they were born with special gifts. They were extraordinary because they refused to settle for mediocrity, because they refused to allow circumstances to define them, because they acted decisively, consistently, and with unwavering faith in their own ability to rise. If they could overcome, you can overcome. If they could persevere, you can persevere. If they could transform their vision into reality, so can you. Your potential is limitless, but it requires action, focus, and an unyielding commitment to your own growth. Embrace the principle of consistency. Effort without direction is wasted energy, but effort with intention repeated over time is unstoppable momentum. Your small daily victories, your disciplined habits, your committed routines, they build invisible bridges to your dreams. Greatness is never an accident. It is the predictable result of a person who decides to refuse mediocrity and dedicate themselves to continuous growth. Each day you invest in yourself, in your skills, in your mind, and in your character is a day building a future that others will admire. Never forget that adversity is part of the journey, but it is not the end. Every setback, every failure, every rejection is a teacher disguised as difficulty. Learn the lesson, adjust your course, and keep moving. The difference between those who fail and those who succeed is not circumstance. It is persistence. The person who refuses to quit, who refuses to be defined by temporary defeat, who continues to take steps forward even when progress feels slow, is the person who will ultimately stand at the peak of achievement. Your vision is your compass. Your discipline is your engine. Your choices are your steering wheel. If you navigate with purpose, if you act with courage, if you persevere with consistency, there is no limit to what you can accomplish. The world rewards those who refuse to be ordinary, those who act decisively, those who refuse to wait for permission or opportunity. The moment you decide to take control, to act intentionally, to live with purpose, is the moment your life begins to transform in ways that will inspire generations, impact communities, and leave a legacy that will endure far beyond your time. Believe in the power of your potential. Embrace the responsibility of your choices. Cherish every moment as an opportunity to build the life you desire. Act with courage, think with clarity, and live with intention. Greatness is not a distant dream. It is a daily decision. The extraordinary life you envision is within reach, but it will never arrive without your relentless action, your unwavering faith, and your commitment to excellence. It begins today, in this moment, with the choices you make, the habits you form, and the discipline you practice, because the person who masters themselves, their time, and their purpose ultimately masters their destiny.